Hi, hey, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be servicing something a little different than a hot air furnace. This is a Utica oil-fired boiler. It's actually a SFH, which is a Starfire 7100. I think it's a 7-section Utica boiler. I think it's the largest residential style oil-fired boiler that Utica makes. I don't think they make anything larger. It is fired with a 2 1/4 60B nozzle, I believe. And so we're going to just get it apart. Take the smoke pipe off. As usual, the boilers, they all access from the top. Take the sheet metal cover off, and then underneath there's another cover covering the flue passages. And then once you get the screws out of that, which is what I'm doing right there, then you have access to the thermal plugs, which are the little fingers inside the cast iron sections. So then I'll get the vacuum cleaner out and go ahead and we'll brush it all out. It does not have a lot of buildup in it. There is a slight amount, and I'll explain why I think there was anyway, in a minute. But I think I grabbed the camera, and I think I'm going to get it over closer so you can see. I mean, I think you can see. The lighting isn't the greatest there. I'm using that old lead light to try and light it up, and so I can show you what's going on. But you can see the thermal plugs. There's nothing plugged. There's just a thin, very thin coating of soot on there. And I believe that's because it was starting hard, and it was kind of, you're getting a little delayed ignition, I guess is the proper term I want to use. So there would be a little smoke and smell, and the owner of the building could smell it. And so I had to order that transformer. That's a CF Beckett burner. Has a different mounting plate than the AFG burners do. And I put a new set of electrodes in this, and the electrode setting on that CF burner is different than an AFG. So I actually had to look it up in the reference materials to see and measure it out, what the exact measurement was for the electrode adjustments, because that burner moves a lot of air, and again, with a nozzle that size, you're pumping some fuel in there. There is no delay valve on it, and so you want it to be right on. I did end up replacing the relief valve and the tridicator, which is the boiler gauge. When I went to replace the relief valve, the boiler gauge showed there was still pressure on when there was not. So I put a new boiler gauge on there so we can tell what's going on with it. And this particular boiler, I don't know if you can see it in any of the part of the video here, but I had a number 60 expansion tank on it. And a number 60 is way undersized for this. I come in and I put, it's not an 80, it's the next one up from 80. And right now the number escapes me, but I should have showed it. It's around the back, sits on the floor. And I left the 60 on there as well, just so that there wouldn't be any issues, and it's been good. Utica boilers, you take the front cover off, and you can open that swing out door, which is kind of nice. Most of the oil-fired boilers have some kind of an access door there that you can get into, and nothing in there at all to vacuum out. I just usually vacuum out the end where the burner head is to make sure there's no buildup on that and that it's clean, and then go from there. Again, like I say, I did replace I replaced the nozzle too. That's with the cleaning. And but the ignition transformer, when I take it apart, here I got to undo the wires for the ignition transformer. Take it off. The new one, most of the time I just hang on to it and open the hinge and hold it with one hand, put the screw in with the other. But this time I guess I got a little lazy, and I just left the hinge folded up, stuck it on there. They do provide a hole in there so you can do that, so you don't have to stand there and hold it. You just drop the screw in and tighten it down. Then you can flip it back open and make your connections and that. So that worked out pretty well. I did a combustion analysis on it. I don't show it because I use my phone for the camera, and I also use the phone for to get the information off the combustion analyzer. So that I don't actually show on here either. So if you're gonna work on one of these CF burners, like I said, it's the electrode adjustment, the air, and I think that hard starting was why there was that thin coating of soot up in the heat exchanger on the thermal plugs between the sections. I believe that's why. I always check the chimney too as well, make sure that's open. Clean the pipe out. It's kind of standard. Put the cover on. I think this boiler's been in here over 20 years. I think it's been in there around 24 years. I had to come in and had a leak on the rear section and replace the rear section on it. It cracked. Utica warranted it, but they gave me a section, tried to get it on there and couldn't, and then it went. Then they gave me a block. They gave me the whole block, so I replaced the whole block. Change the oil filter. You've seen me do that before. That's no big deal. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, share it, and subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you got any questions or comments on what I did there, or something you liked, something you didn't like. I'm more than happy to strike up a conversation over an oil burner. It's they're always fun to work on. I don't mind it at all. So you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching if you stuck it out this far.